it's not a fine line at all. I mean, obviously we believe in freedom of speech, but it's so hard, I think, for people in other countries to see what hatred that sometimes brings out. The other thing I think of when I thought of that movie that caused this trouble was the whole thing around those people who come and protest at gay people's, funerals and stuff. And there's always that part of me that would love to limit things like that, and then I think that that's what freedom of speech is about, and that's what America is about. And unfortunately, it's good with bad, and I was just sorry to see innocent people once again injured by other people's hatred. And one of the things I loved about the DNC was that I really didn't feel hatred there. I really felt like it was positive messaging, reminding us, first of all, of everything the president did accomplish. One of the problems with Dems is we always think about what we still need to do. You do something good, great, well, why haven't you done this? And then also I think just really starkly pointing out the difference, more than just the 90% middle-aged white men versus not audience, but really starkly pointing out the difference between what Democrats and Republicans stand for, particularly around the support of our military, to tell you the truth. Because one thing I know, you probably all know this as well, and I have this happen in my family, is that people who are in poverty who don't have a good education see the military as a way out of poverty. And they often volunteer not because they are all-American and want to go out and be at war, but because they see that as their way out, their ticket out of poverty. And it's embarrassing sometimes what we don't do for our military members, and I was so proud of everything that the President and his family and Joe Biden and his family have done for our military, because that's a job I would never want to do. So that's all my words of wisdom for now. I have a couple of flyers I'm going to leave here, and then as you know, I always go to the Colorado Democratic Party Latino Initiative. I have two competing events on Thursday night. I'd love it if you'd come to one of them. One is that the Latino Initiative, Colorado Democratic Party Latino Initiative, is doing a fundraiser for Latino candidates on the ballot, and it's at Su Teatro, El Centro Su Teatro. They're having its opening night of their play, I Don't Speak English Only. I'm sure it'll be a bit irreverent. And then we're going to have a reception at 6:15, and the curtain is at 7:30. Su Teatro is giving us the tickets for $10 a seat. So anything over that you pay will be a contribution to the Latino Initiative candidates. So I'll leave some of these here for people who like to have the paper to remind them. But it's Thursday. The curtain is at 7:30. Come anytime from 6:15 on for a reception. I will bring my husband's salsa for those of you who know his salsa. So there'll be at least that there at the reception. The second event on Thursday actually starts as early as 4. So you all know that I am still trying to work toward universal health care at the same time that I'm trying to change the healthcare system we have. And I work with the Colorado Foundation for Universal Health Care and Cooperate Colorado. And a volunteer who is a retired attorney has given us the use of his historic building at 1750 Gilpin Street for our efforts toward universal health care. It's a beautiful building. And we're having a housewarming on Thursday from 4 to 7:30. I'm hopeful we'll be able to announce that we've received a grant that we have been told tentatively we're getting. We're not willing to announce until we get the written check, or at least the written confirmation in the mail, toward looking at how do we switch Colorado to universal health care. So these are at the mansion at 1750 Gilpin Street between 4 and 7:30 on Thursday. So you could come 4 to 6:15 there and then go see them. Because you have nothing else to do on Thursday, right? I want to thank everyone who's walking and putting up flyers. I have adopted Andy Kerr as my senator to try and help. He inherited the east side of Lakewood, which actually has a large Hispanic population now. And some of you will be walking with me with him today later on this morning. But because I try to do at least one day a week with Andy, and Owen tries to force me to do 2 days a week for myself. I've been going to community meetings and neighborhood meetings, which is actually a great place to meet people at ice cream socials and stuff, because people are out and really want to hear about what's going on. So that's been a lot of fun too. So I am working obviously not just for myself, but because I'd like to see the Senate and House in Democratic control so that we can easily pass things like asset and civil unions and things that represent our good democratic values. So thank you all for all that you do. I do, as I mentioned, have to leave for the Latino initiative, but before I leave, I am going to bring in a bunch of yard signs. You know, I always tell people I live in this big house on the hill on the west side of Denver because that was what I always thought rich people did, was live in big houses on hills. Well, I have 1 million yard signs because that's what I always thought politicians did. And so now I'm trying to get rid of them and have them actually out in people's yards instead of in my garage. And so, so a great way any of you could support me would be if you would take one for yourself and take one for anyone you know in your neighborhood who you think you could talk into putting one up. And I would really appreciate that. So I'll put a bunch together and leave them out here. I see Mark coming in with his pile of yard signs. and I would appreciate if you pass that out. Let me take a question, Ray.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank you, Senator, for coming by our Overland Park neighborhood meeting. I think you gained more than a few votes from independents who were there.
Oh, thank you. You know, it's been great to go to these neighborhood meetings and hear what the different issues are. For those of you who live in this area, there's a big concern because there are people who are thinking about putting a gas station right by that Safeway there on Evans. And they're concerned about ingress and egress. And I could see that as being a potential danger because of the school crossing right there would make me a little bit nervous. But anyway, these neighborhood associations actually really know what's going to be happening in your neighborhood and can and are a good way for you to have a voice.
I wanted to kind of thank you, Irene. I really want to commend you. You came also to West Washington Park's monthly meeting, and there were a lot of people there who were very pleasantly surprised at who you are.
Yeah, that's a weird. Actually, that's a little bit like my best friend in high school who said to me, "I always forget that you're Mexican." I'm thinking, what does that mean?
I just wanted, as an aside, I wanted to say the event on Thursday night for Cooperate Colorado in this beautiful old mansion has an added benefit of historic house tours of the house, and I'm leading them. I don't know if you know, some of you may know, one of my previous careers was as an architectural historian, so I'll be happy to show you around.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you.